chance you meet the challenge. Your reward will be great. Behold!
Hey, how's it going? It's your boy, Middle-Aged Dad Gamer. I've had this request down a couple of times for the build, so I'm just going to leave up the superstar I have right here for what I wear as a standard build. It's nothing really too fancy. It's too heavy, 5 medium. I'm obviously not optimized because I play a Nord. I really don't give a crap about optimization, otherwise I wouldn't be playing the Dizzy Templar, right? But for the most part, this is kind of the general build right here. You want to build spell damage over weapon damage. Main reason for that is because of the passive under Dawn's Wrath that gives you minor sorcery whenever you use an ability, and it's for 20 seconds. So that's going to add a lot of extra damage to your build, so make sure you build spell damage, not weapon damage. Other thing with that too is going to be the actual setup itself. It's very interchangeable. You can wear the full 5 set, or you can wear a monster set by just throwing on, I don't know, let's say, whatever monster set you want. If I'm taking a lot of damage, let's say, and I need extra ult gen or tankiness, I'll throw on Bloodspawn, and I'll only wear the 4 set. So that still gives me a pretty good amount of versatility to work with there. I can throw on Balors for more damage, I can throw on, basically, Order's Wrath if I want to switch into crit over the weapon damage offense. Dizzy Templar thrives off of stat scaling. Do not wear procs with this, like a lot of procs or anything like that. What you want to do is you want to basically incorporate as much stat stacking as possible, because your bread and butter is essentially going to be Dizzy Swing into your ult. That's the big combo right there. You're not really banking off any delayed burst, because obviously you can hit somebody for 40k damage during Power of the Light and it still only hits for 4k maximum. It's not worth the investment. The only reason I have this on my bar is because it's just a little extra tidbit of damage, but more importantly, it's minor breach and it's also minor sorcery at all times, and ultimate generation. I run Theta Trends. Why? The big reason for that is because Templars don't have any delayed burst. That really matters for the most part. Their delayed burst is kind of hot caca. So I'm supplementing that with Theta Trends, basically. Does pretty good damage, actually. When I'm fully buffed up, I get about a 9k tooltip, almost 10k, and it's radial, so it's kind of nice. It's 8 meters around. So what I like to do is I usually like to set up for bombs on groups, Dawnbreaker into medium weave, and it does pretty substantial damage. So in terms of passives, I don't have anything too crazy. It's basically just Ironclad for general damage, Untamed Aggression for scaling weapon or spell damage, right? Because we have the Dawn's Wrath passive, Master at Arms because we deal pretty much all direct damage, and Wrathful Strikes because we just like spell damage. I know it doesn't scale, but in general, just having flat, consistent damage seems to be very good for this build. In terms of my red CPs, I have Survival Instincts, Sustained by Suffering, Pain's Refuge, and Celerity. Pretty much what everybody wears, and obviously green CPs nobody gives a crap about. Alright, so the build. This is pretty much it. You can run it however you want. I personally like 2 heavy, 5 medium. One of the strong suits of Templar tends to be the fact that it's very, very solid defensively. It had, Living Dark, Major Purge, Rune, and Vigor, and then Honor the Dead are just insanely good defensive utilities. They're very strong. So you pretty much lean on that a lot in order to survive most situations, and then turn around and you do damage whenever you're ready to set up your burst. So you don't really have to build too crazy into defense, but I would obviously still run, right, the 2 heavies and other stuff, that calls for it. Big thing I also want to mention with this is, if you're going to be running Wretched Vitality on the back part, you already have plenty sustain with that, plus your class passives and whatnot. So it's best to run offensive Mundus, but I choose Apprentice, right, because the spell damage ends up being like 230 at base, plus your spell damage modifiers, like minor and major sorcery, ends up putting it at somewhere around 270, almost 300 spell damage. So it's pretty nice. It's a good benefit to have. Obviously, with Wretched Vitality, one of the great things about that set is you can, pretty much mold your build however you want. You can choose to wear Apprentice, or Lover for penetration, or Lord for more armor. It's a pretty versatile set. It's a great set to have on the back bar. This build actually changes up quite a bit too, depending on what I'm fighting that day. So perfect example of this, If I'm fighting a big Zerg and I'm taking a lot of random damage, I like to throw on Bloodspawn. I'll put on Bloodspawn and I'll forgo my Stune's 5 set. That way I have this rolling the full time. This essentially becomes my new 5 set. So it's Ultimate Generation Armor, and I pretty much still have the benefits of Stune's 4 set. It's pretty obscure, but it's actually really stat dense and it works out really great. It's also highly customizable, so you can end up wearing Balorgs if you need more damage or if you feel like you can squeeze that in. I like that build a lot, by the way. It's very consistent. You basically turn the Balorg's 2-piece into your 5 set, and it's pretty consistent solid damage. You saw it in those clips that I played earlier. They actually feature this build specifically. The one where I'm fighting a bunch of like bow spammers, I'm actually wearing Bloodspawn, but it's the same similar setup. In terms of abilities, you can pretty much change the layout of what you have here for the most part. I would say the back bar is pretty much absolute. This is what's going to keep you alive 90% of the time. The only thing I tend to switch out here most of the time is Living Dark for elemental susceptibility if I'm fighting, let's say, a lot of Mara's Bloodspawn DKs. Because for some reason, you need 24k plus resistance to take them down. I have no clue why, but they're just... it is what it is. On that note, it took me forever to research this and find this out, so I hope this helps somebody, whoever's watching this video. Penetration, people are going to tell you you need 10k minimum. They're going to tell you you want ideally about 12k to 18k. That's all bullshit. What you want is between 18 to 24k, if possible. You can run 10k, it's not an issue, you'll still do great damage, but if you can somehow fit in 18 to 24k somehow, you're going to do phenomenal damage. And I usually notice that people's hairlines start receding as soon as they start clipping them with, 24k pen dizzy swings. That's usually when they start kind of like crippling, folding over. Ultimates are pretty versatile. I like Crescent Sweep, and I also like Dawnbreaker a lot. If you're getting chased down by 10-15 people, Meteor's not a bad ult. It's actually pretty nice if you want to turn around and do like a turn and burn on them. But that's the build, man. Hope this helps. If you got any questions, let me know in the comments. I can try to fill in some more information there. Thanks for watching.